Alright, well, another part of the John Deere 440 backhoe loader. Just another video for those of you that are out there that might have one of these or might be curious about parts and pieces of it. So basically, had to get into doing the rack assembly. So I had oil basically leaking out. I had a gasket here, so I didn't have oil leaking out. But above that, there's basically the where the shaft comes in and turns the 90. I had oil leaking out pretty bad and getting everywhere. So leak got pretty bad. I finally had to get into doing this. And what it winds up being is there's an O-ring basically around this shaft. This works just like a hydraulic piston. There's an O-ring right around this shaft, and I'll show you that in a minute. That bolts on the side here. Looks like a big can sticking off. Has a piston assembly here. It puts fluid into either side using a control valve, and helps basically assist in steering. And it turns this steering shaft. It goes all the way down to the bottom. So let's take a look at the guts of that. Basically, this is the piston part of it. So it's got two steel rings. Basically, just looks like a big cup, and sits inside of this cylinder. And this is where the fluid basically comes in and out of the two sides to move the cylinder back and forth. And what goes and caps it and keeps the fluid from coming out is this part. This is basically the top that sits down in that, and the shaft comes through this hole right here. And what's bad is that O-ring for me. So it's letting fluid basically sneak past this and fills up the cavity in the rack assembly. And so all that, I had to take the radiator. I can't get my front, basically my front hood part off, like front bumper kind of thing, cowl. Can't get that off, so I had to take the radiator and everything behind it and try to do this from the backside. So this O-ring wasn't that bad for me. It's mostly this one. It gets hard and flat on the edges and lets some fluid sneak by. So it's only a couple bucks for the, I think $1 something for the O-ring, and a good weekend of work. And then this one basically goes in, same thing, keeps fluid in the from sneaking around the assembly basically. This one goes, actually, once this goes in, it'll get like a lip right here, and then there's another O-ring basically goes and smashes flat against that, and then smashes flat against the other plate. So when this thing bolts together, that doesn't leak out through there. And then other than that, you just get a little nut assembly. And then I'll do a part two here. Second one I'll do is the valve control assembly. That one was leaking a little bit. So while I got it all tore apart, I did the control assembly too. So I'll do a part two here in a minute and show you that one.